Hello and welcome to the first episode of Inciting Incident. My name is Pedro. This is my co-host Billy.
What's up?
And I'm here with Alex as well.
Hey guys, you can call me Raspberry Muffin.
And that is his passport name. We call him Alex as a friendly, endearing term.
It's his legal name.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what Inciting Incident is, given that it's our first episode. We're going to talk about films, given that we're all students in filmmaking at a master's level at obviously the University of Sussex. So we all went to the movies together yesterday. We had a great time.
Best time.
We had a time. And we're gonna discuss the film that we've watched. So Billy, do you wanna get us rolling on that, please?
Yeah, so the film that we watched, obviously or not obviously, was Don't Worry Darling, one of the hottest topics of the summer, thanks to our newest A-listed star, Harry Styles.
The best actor.
The best actor,
It was
absolutely.
the best part of the film.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
I don't think Harry Styles, he shouldn't simply get the Academy Award for Best Actor. It should be Academy Award for Best Film automatically, just given to him, because he made that movie. It's his movie, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one scene in the car when he's just
Yelling.
reacting perfectly.
Just
Later, guys.
Right. Of
Spoke
course,
to me
of
on
course,
a
of course.
deeply emotional level. But what did you guys think about the film? Pedro?
What did we think about the film? So, if I was to give kind of like my overall impression of the film, it would be that of like disappointment. Because I think the idea was good. I think there were elements of the film that were fantastic. Like cinematography was great, sound design was phenomenal, but there were some very glaring plot holes. There were very obvious parts that they could have just left out or changed a little bit, and it would have made more sense. Like contextualize it a little bit, you know. For example, there's a whole scene with the eggs when she grabs up the egg and cracks it, and it was supposed to show the glitching of the simulation. But at the same time, you're kind of like putting that against her hallucinating. So you're not giving it enough of an explanation for the audience to be able to discern what is hallucination, what is glitching. You know what I mean? So yeah, just overall surface level opinion is that it's wasted potential, basically.
Yeah, I think...
What would you say to that?
Well, it's true exactly what you're saying about the egg scene, especially because it took me 2 viewings to even figure out that it was a glitch, like in the system. The first time I saw it, I had no idea what it was. I remembered it for about 30 minutes, and then enough random shit happened that I just totally forgot about it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yesterday we talked a little bit about that thing. And like I said to you, I was thinking about the baby thing because one of the characters have already 2 childs.
Right.
And the other character was pregnant. And I was thinking that would somehow be important in the plot, but it was not.
Not in Don't Worry Darling, bro.
If they had like given it a little bit more time, how cool would that have been? Because like obviously an empty egg is great foreshadowing for the babies not being real. Like if they had actually taken the time to develop this, that could have been a very nice visual kind of like hint like a hint leading towards the plot twist, if you know what I mean. But they just didn't know what to do with it, so it just ended up feeling flat.
No, I totally agree with that. I do think it's funny how at that one point, Olivia Wilde's character just goes, "That's Connie, she's always pregnant." Because she probably hasn't. It's kind of like the Joe's wife in Family Guy.
Yeah.
Peter is like, "Bunny, haven't you been pregnant for like 14 seasons?"
I'm not gonna lie, when she said it, I was half expecting to have like a scene in her house. It's like 15 kids.
No, bro. No, not even the one. It's such a weird addition to the film as well. Like, is she pregnant in real life? And if she is, then that's obviously fucked because she's lying like unconscious in a bed somewhere or probably in a bunker somewhere.
Yeah. Like I was thinking that, how does that work? You know what I mean?
How does the entire concept of I was so disappointed with the final twist.
Let's get Alex's opinion.
So I liked the visuals a lot, especially the visual effects. All the scenes with mirrors, they were
crazy,
on point.
Yeah.
Like how they shot it, it was great. But the ending, like the twist, I think that was very disappointing.
It was more of a straight than a twist. Nah.
No, I get you. But like, tell us more about like why you don't think the twist works.
Because all the things that they start in the beginning, the earthquakes, quote unquote, like through the whole film, like we also talked about how they can be portrayed as the Manhattan Project.
Right.
Basically, how it can be that, and how the explosions can be the earthquakes, and that this is our nuclear families that were popular at the time that was portrayed in the movie. But it was all down the drain after the plot twist, because nothing matters. Basically, it was all the dream of a dog, basically.
I think the biggest problem with films like this is it's not really a twist because it's expected. Like they're giving you all these mysteries, and the automatic expectation is you're going to get an explanation. The only real question is, are you going to be satisfied with that explanation? And with this one, it just doesn't feel like they even tried.
You know, the main question what it is in this film?
Why?
The red plane.
The red. Oh yeah,
the red plane.
Oh, that
Totally
fucking
forgot about
red
that
plane,
already.
man. That was so
I
sweet.
saw a plane. Never mind, you're boiling eggs, Harry Styles. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you're boiling potatoes. So like,
Harry, you have to boil the potatoes before mashing them.
he's such a
He's
funny guy, that Harry
insane.
Styles. So charming. He's part of his.
He has great on-screen
charisma.
presence.
No, but honestly,
charisma,
honestly, like he was good until the car scene.
I mean, he was good until he got a little bit harder. You know what I mean?
He was good on like an elementary level. Like he could say the lines in like chronological and chromatic order.
If he was, sorry, go ahead.
You go.
Oh, thanks. You're very kind.
It's very kind. Good chemistry here at Inciting.
We're very polite here at Inciting.
This is why our number one podcast. And,
anyways. Dude, I even forgot what I was gonna say. You go first.
I think this is only because he just looks good. And that's why I was enjoying watching him act.
He looks very good, though.
But when he was needed to act emotions, I was like, nah, dude. Especially compared to the Florence Pugh.
Yeah, that was kind of an insult, putting him with her in the same scenes.
In the same shot.
Yeah, in the same shot, bro. Where she's like giving her, like, that scene in the car when she gets dragged out, and you can really, like, feel it in her voice, like the amount of horror, the amount of terror that she's going through. But he is like,
no, I'm sorry. No, that was sorry. That was a fantastic scene. I love that tiny Pete where they grab her and they're pulling her, and for a moment she's like, no, I can be better. Like she just fully resigns. It's so real panic. Yeah. And you can literally see Harry Styles' eyes just like take notes on the spot. He's like, I'd so yell at a volume of 7, and then he goes, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work, bro.
No, it doesn't work.
And by the way, to all the listeners and watchers, spoilers are alert.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about the film, so if you didn't watch it, sorry.
Don't worry, we'll fix it in post.
If you haven't watched it, honestly, at this point, don't.
If you haven't watched Don't Worry Darling, Don't Worry Darling.
Damn. No, I think
we need to work in the title of the film for every episode.
You can watch it just for the for the cinematics of it.
Yeah,
because it was very good for the eyes. It was like I enjoyed it. I think only because of the visuals.
It's pretty, but it's not enough, especially the second time around. When we finished watching it, I told Alex this is a remarkably excruciating, like, fun time experience. It's just not a good film to watch, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense. And the more times you probably watch it, the more mad you're gonna get because nothing makes sense. It just feels like it's disrespecting on a very primal level.
No, I get that. There are definitely some parts of the film, some sequences that I think you could analyze from from a film studies perspective. You know what I mean? If you like want to write an essay about like how everything is depicted in circles when they're like going into and out of
the symmetry.
Yeah, like the symmetry of it. And
that's a part of the cinematography more than
exactly. Like no. I was gonna say like how that can be like analyzed on a deeper level if you're going at from the perspective of cinematography. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the main plot point in the movie, the symmetry, because they repeat through the most of the film, like symmetry is beautiful, symmetry is what we are going for.
Yeah.
Like first thing, it was in the ballet scene, when they were dancing, and the teacher said that if you want to be beautiful, you need to be symmetrical, basically.
Yeah. So essentially, you have to conform to a pattern. That's exactly by extension what the film is about. I agree with that, but also just know it rings very hollow afterward. I love how they've composed all the movement and all the shots in the film. They look absolutely stunning. But in the end, when there's no point in doing that, it's just like you went through all that work and you
Yeah.
did not have a point, like straight up.
Those eggs are a good metaphor for the movie. It looks like
Those
a
are-
perfect egg, empty.
That was a really realistic egg crunching sound.
I should do Foley work.
I think I'm going to make a cinematic experience with some cracking eggs and just hire Pedro to crack all my eggs in it.
I can also do a vape sound.
Well, is this a Joe Rogan podcast now? What are you doing?
Oh, by the way, sound, the music.
Oh yeah,
It was-
yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it was very great. By the way, can we swear in this podcast?
We've
What do you
already
think?
sworn.
I've sworn like
It
15
was, it
times
was
at this
fucking
point.
great, guys.
But I'll just say for all the listeners, Alex did not like the music initially when we walked out.
No. I didn't like the sequence when the chase sequence because it's
I
the
love-
I agree
same.
with
It
Alex.
was the same music from the Wonder Woman. It's like I was like, nah, you're just rewriting the same fucking thing over and over because the same music was in first Wonder Woman, and of course the second, and in some of the movies that were like feminist friendly, basically, quote unquote. Yeah.
Right.
Could you please sing something?
Yeah.
Or I'm just enchanted by your
Oh,
voice.
no,
over
no,
there.
no, no,
I don't even
no.
remember what you said. It's very nice.
Fuck off.
I did enjoy the soundtrack. I think it's a very bold soundtrack.
See, I think it was very good, but I agree with Alex. The part of the chasing, I don't think it fit. Like when they were, when at the end of the film, when she's getting chased by the people in red suits, and the soundtrack is like,
Oh, I love that. That's
No,
great.
The chase scenes in general was one of the worst.
let's talk a little bit about the
scenes.
plot so we can kind of like pick apart
Yeah.
the different things.
Yeah, okay, we can start that.
Do you want to give like a quick little summary, one of you? Do you want to rock, paper, scissors?
So Florence Pugh lives in this utopian, I guess you could call town like a 50s utopia in the middle of, I think, desert in like,
Nevada.
what we
Fine.
assume is like
Yeah.
a nuclear zone, like in the middle of the, or after, just after
I
the
think
Second
they
World War.
wanted to portray that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
after that, nothing happens and nothing makes sense. And then the film quite literally ends. But at least he has Harry Styles. No. So what happens is she begins to slowly become aware that something is wrong with her reality, which is literally The Matrix, which is The Truman Show, which is 15 films that have done the exact same thing better. And then they like really try to sell that, I guess, through the visuals, especially, and through the soundtrack as being something like unique and different. But really, it's just the same basic story of a person in like a sandbox realizing they're in a sandbox, trying to get away from it, and then having your ultimate revelation: what is the real world, and why are we over here? What's the ultimate revelation?
Yeah. No, yeah. That's a good like overview of it. Then there's also the plot with I forget his name, but Chris Pine's character. Because he is the
Frank.
creator. Frank, thank you. He's the creator of this simulation, and he kind of controls everything that's going on. And he obviously, being the creator, he knows that Florence Pugh's character Alice is starting to kind of like dissociate and escape, well, quote unquote, from the Matrix. You know, yeah, exactly. So he goes to confront her, and he's like, "I've been waiting for somebody to challenge me," and then he doesn't do anything. He gets stabbed,
That
and
guy is
that's
so
it.
annoying. Because I remember I watched it the first time, and I was like, did he actually have a point? So the second time, I'm just going to listen to the speech, and he literally says the corniest shit ever. We are the future. We will not back down. And he'll just say, but he doesn't have any idea. Like, he doesn't actually say anything. It's so frustrating.
You mean the monkey scene? When he was
not even the monkey.
When the Harry Styles danced like a monkey on the carnival, like in
When he was just being
yeah, they're like
Frank's like toy.
Gatsby era.
1800, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a like very hallucinating scene. I was like, is it real or not? Because he was really dancing like a monkey, and the guy was the box, the music box, basically, the Chris Pine character. Yeah, I was like, nah, that's
So I think
too awkward.
I think the talk about Chris Pine is really getting us into the plot, or the talk of the plot about this movie. So should we just like really dive into that?
Yeah, let's fuck up Chris Pine.
First of all, the thing is that the Olivia Wilde wanted to portray George Peterson, like
Jordan Peterson,
Yeah.
I think.
Jordan Peterson, sorry, as the Chris Pine, and I was like, nah.
Nah, bro.
I mean, Yeah, like I see where she was going.
Yeah,
with it.
with the podcast thing at the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
But
And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of agree to a certain extent about what she was doing. Like that man does have a few like
extreme
psycho
points.
fans.
Yeah.
No,
But
talking more about like his fan base, how they're like obsessed with him. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, but you can talk about this about any fan base.
That is true.
You can talk the same about Joe Rogan. Maybe
talk
in the
about
future,
us.
talk about us, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
At its core, Don't Worry, Darling, you asked for me to pitch the movie at the beginning. It's a film about the dangers of guys in their 20s listening to podcasts. No, but I think, because I saw a Jordan Peterson interview and I saw Olivia Wilde interview where she was saying it's directly influenced by Jordan Peterson, but I think it's such an inefficient way to do that because the Frank character literally does none of the things that Jordan Peterson does. Like, to take that idea, I'm not saying that the ideas that Jordan Peterson or any of these like modern day intellectuals, they might be perverted, they might be wrong, they might not even really be ideas, but they are rooted in like a deep cause, and that's why so many people engage with them.
Right.
So the way to critique that is not to make a character who's just totally dumb and just doesn't fucking say anything, and then say, "Oh, you're so dumb for listening to Frank." Like, Frank is not saying anything, bro.
Yeah, I watched the interview with Jordan Peterson when the interviewer asked him about this movie, and Jordan Peterson like starts crying. Like, yeah, I try to communicate with this type of people, but I don't think that I'm this like bad guy.
Right.
Basically, I'm trying to help man to take out your bad feelings out and do something with them. But yeah. The character, I think, was especially the ending of the character, his death.
That was a bit silly. Well,
Why?
His whole fucking character was so dumb, dude.
Because the scene,
what was he even doing
one
there?
scene before, his wife was defending him.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, she stops him.
Oh, it's because she becomes aware of. I'm not gonna defend it, bro. It's dumb.
Yeah, because but
It's silly. Yeah,
I was thinking she's aware that she's in the Matrix.
She is at the end. That's why she kills him.
Is it?
Yes, but that's dumb.
Yeah, she's cutting the lemons, and then because all the women become aware
Yeah.
of the Florence Pugh, the
Yeah,
simulation
yeah.
collapses.
She basically becomes the one like Neo in the Matrix. She like stops the bullet.
Never
basically when-
again mention the Matrix in the same sentence as fucking "Don't Worry, Darling," please, or you're gonna get kicked out of the podcast.
Alex, you need to conform.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we have some guidelines to obey by. Let's just try to be decent human beings over here.
No, but like that's a good intro. That's a good segue to talk a little bit about the kind of like thematic conflicts of the film, because it is a lot about just control of women by men. There is obviously the more overt, like the more obvious control aspect, which is they are literally tied up to a bed, like in a simulation. But then there's also the more subtle ways that they incorporate it into the movie, which is again just kind of like shows how it could have been really good, because there are some smart layers to it, but they just didn't know what to do with it. Talking about how Harry Styles' character, he's constantly saying like, no, you're happy. And all the husbands really have this thing where they're saying like, no, like you have the perfect life. And then Florence Pugh's character, when they're having the big argument, when she finds out that she is in a simulation, she tells him, no, I loved my life. I like to work. And he says, how can you like to work? I'm miserable working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's not even thinking about what she's thinking. It's all from his perspective. That's kind of like the more subtle way of showing how this mentality is so focused on what... excuse me, how this mentality is so focused on what is your own personal perception, and you're not bothered to find out what other people are thinking, that you just apply your perception to other people instead of like exploring somebody else's. So I think that's like quite decent as a thematic conflict, but unfortunately it doesn't really get explored much.
Yeah, because through the whole film, the message of control, like even with dancing, the shot with in the supermarket, everything is kind of portraying the kind control, quote unquote, but it goes it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the most frustrating thing that when I was watching, and the character of Florence Pugh, I love how she acts, but the character, I was so annoyed with her when I was watching, especially the dancing scene when she basically sees the other character that wanted to die. Like she understood that she was in a simulation, and she saw this character in the mirror. And after that, she was like, "Do you think I'm insane? I'm not insane." I was like, "But you were hallucinating like one scene before. What are you talking about, girl?"
I mean, I guess that's just like trying to put the audience into her shoes and just like showing how quickly all of these, or the succession of how quickly everything is changing for her, and trying to like put us on it, kind of like Truman. Like Truman just keeps noticing like that's off, that's off, that's off, and we like keep noticing the weirdness of it the same way.
In Truman Show, it was good.
That's what I'm saying. Right? So if Truman Show is like mince, if you put the Truman Show in the fridge and you take it out in like 3 weeks, you get Don't Worry Darling.
No. If you leave it under the sun.
Oh my god.
If you feed it to your dog, then once it goes through the cycle of life, you get Don't Worry Darling.
Yeah.
And we're being too rude on this movie. You should never dunk on a movie because it's so like surprising that films like this get made in the first place.
Yeah.
No,
Go ahead.
like we said in the beginning, it's not like very bad movie. It's like 5.5, 6 for me, only because the ending it doesn't go anywhere. It starts very good points in the beginning till I think the midpoint.
Yeah.
But after that, everything goes to hell, basically.
Even at the beginning, just what Petra was saying at the beginning of the podcast of how they like keep presenting these different ideas of what's off. Like something is physically off with the world and something is mentally off with Florence Pugh's character, because there's 2 scenes that follow each other immediately. This is only 15 minutes into the movie. One of them is her saying, Margaret, is it the neighbor? And she's like Margaret, staring out into the sky. And
how do you remember all the names of the characters?
Scandinavian memory.
Yeah.
And
I remember only Frank.
I have no answer to that.
What's his name? Frank, right?
Frank, yeah.
Okay.
His name is Jordan Peterson from now on. Anyway, she sees that, and then the immediate next scene, she goes inside, and it's a broken egg. And when you see the egg, it's not only that the egg is confusing, it's that it already makes you forget about the previous thing that they told you, which is totally different. Like there's something wrong with the girl next door, and now there's something wrong with the fucking beverages, and next thing there's something wrong with the library shelf or the wall that squeezes her between the window. Like,
that was
the
kind
wall
of strange thing.
Was weird.
Yeah.
Also, how they like just slam down like this is totally off, and then in the lamest way possible, just keep the story going. Like she sees a plane fall down, she literally sees how many theoretically 2-3 people probably die, and then she goes, and then she just thinks it's a dream. Yeah. I think, because now again, second time seeing it, so I have that advantage, but there's a brief moment in like Florence Pugh's eyes, so you can kind of see that her character is like thinking, like, something is off, but I can't tell my husband at this point. But it just doesn't translate. It just doesn't like feel like that. It just feels...
I'm not gonna lie to you, it almost feels like cheating. It feels like they want
It is cheating.
Yeah. It feels like they want to have this like aura of, we're keeping the audience on their toes. They don't know what's going on. The same way that Florence Pugh doesn't know what's going on. But you have 2 separate things that don't mix, which are supposed to happen both parallel to each other, but you're presenting them as if they were the same thing.
Yes.
So
that's exactly right.
You're cheating. You know what I mean? Like if you're smart about it, you can like have one of them, just be more subtle with it, or be consistent with one of them. Don't play both of them at the same time. You know what I mean?
Actually, it's 3 things, because I just forgot there's the Margaret scene, and after that, there's a quick insert of her eyes, like in the real world, like trying to wake up.
Margaret?
Margaret is the neighbor character.
The pregnant
slit
one.
herself.
Okay, yeah.
Alex.
No, it's the one who slit her throat and jumped out.
Alex, next time, don't sleep in the movie.
I'm bad with names, so yeah. So about the story, the ending, when they presented the simulation, my brain unintentionally started to think, why is it working like is it working right now in the movie? Basically, why cannot the Chris Pine character like look into them, like how they are behaving? Why cannot he control them? Why he cannot teleport, basically, if it's the simulation like Matrix? And why, if the men are killed in the simulation, why they are dying in the real life?
That's like literally just something they ripped from Inception. They're like, people know. That's it. Like, if you die in a dream, you die in real life.
The quote was literally from Inception. It's like, if you die in the simulation, you die in real life.
If the men, because they gotta like twist it, they can't be the same.
That's the thing. I was like, if the men die in simulation, they die in real life.
Are we sure?
Yeah,
that's
the
literal
quote.
That's what
just kill herself then. You'll wake up.
Because the movie.
Yeah, because and the other thing is, in the first half, she went to the central thing in the desert, and she
So dumb
kind
as
of
well.
escaped.
Yeah.
You know,
But she didn't escape the simulation. But in the end, she did the same fucking thing. She touched the wall or the glass.
Yeah.
Everything went red. But this time she
This time she
escaped.
did, yeah.
yeah, so it's
This-
just straight up not even
Why?
established. And also, like, 'cause the men, they drive the cars and they drive the cars into the tunnel and they go out. But Florence Pugh has to climb over
No,
the
no,
tunnel.
no.
Yeah,
They
that's true.
didn't go to the tunnel.
No, that
Basically,
one guy came out of the tunnel at the end, so they were going into
The
the tunnel.
doctor, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
yeah, but for example, when they were driving the cars, do you remember he was counting down like, you will exit the simulation in 10, 9,
So
when they
it's
were
just-
driving in the desert.
So it's just Event Horizon, essentially.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like, in the games they have like invisible walls basically. I was thinking something like that. When you drive off, you exit the simulation. But maybe for women it's different. But
she-
we're now, speculating over fucking nothing.
Yeah, we're speculating over this
I
film.
do think it, like, we were talking about this as well yesterday, but apparently the screenplay for this film was on the blacklist for a couple of years, and then it got picked up and rewritten, and we don't know exactly how many elements were introduced in it later. Was it all this, like, the Jordan Peterson stuff and everything? But it just feels like there's remnants from a previous film.
Yeah.
Kind of like the main location. I honestly think it was just, maybe it had a function in the previous draft, or maybe it's just a cool location and they said, this looks mysterious and nice, let's just put this in the film because it looks mysterious, because it serves no function, but it's clearly a real practical location.
Why it was like in 50s when it's real life or even real time basically, or even in the future.
I get what they're trying to do with like bringing it back to the 50s. This is obviously like, especially with the Jordan Peterson comparison, it's a commentary on like conservatism. You know what I mean? It's
when it's way before, it was very hard for women basically.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
referencing the like idealized kind of like marketing version of the 50s that we always see in like commercials and stuff. You know what I mean? So they're trying to like visually put across the message of male control, which we associate with times like the 50s. you know?
Now, yeah.
So I get it, but you're right. It's a very cool setting, especially with like all the world building, the fucking rumblings, like all those things that we can't really explain, but they don't do anything with it.
I wish they'd at least put like a subway that goes over the Florence Pugh's flat or something, because it makes no sense. Also, another thing I would have liked to see is like Chris Pine wake up and it's just some fat dude in like a basement in
Yeah,
Louisiana.
that would be
funny.
that
Yeah.
would be great thing if he in real life he would be like very not sexual.
But
In the
Harry
simulation.
Styles kind of like, he looks exactly like Harry Styles.
They just added the mustache like.
And he had fake acne in like real.
Did he?
Yeah, he had like his cheeks were all scruffed up.
Oh.
It was so weird, bro.
I didn't
kinda
see
weird.
that. I only noticed
That's
the.
kind of fucked up. To
They
people
made
with
Harry
acne, like-
Styles look unhot. Do you realize how difficult that is? There's Academy Award for makeup
That
right
was
over there.
50% of the
Yeah.
budget, bro.
It's 50% of
Making
the
Harry
Academy
Styles
Award.
look
Yeah.
ugly.
No, there's 100% of it.
No, but that brings me to something else. I think we should talk a little bit about the plot holes of this film.
Oh.
And one of the major plot holes is how the fuck did these incel dudes all get with fucking Olivia Wilde, Florence Pugh, the neighbors? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's
How
supposed to
they-
be all these like awkward shut-ins that listen to podcasts. No offense.
You guys are
great. can't say shit like that.
Not you
It's like,
guys,
no,
not you
fair.
guys. But like,
we're making
but you
it
know what I
so
mean?
many
Like, there's
alphas, right?
supposed to be these like very fucking like awkward, like weird dudes.
Yeah.
But they're getting with these girls. What? You know?
I mean, it's Harry Styles after all.
Harry
so-
Styles is one thing, but like
No,
Nick Kroll,
but yeah.
come on.
Fuck.
Yeah, come on.
Like who?
No, but
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll, yeah, the guy
his wife?
with
Oh, his wife.
I think
Olivia
his
Wilde.
wife was
No,
Olivia Wilde,
Oh,
yeah.
they were like childhood sweethearts. I
they
can't
actually-
really defend this film on that level because it doesn't deserve it. Like, I'm not going to say,
Yeah,
it
don't
made
do it.
sense.
It's fine.
If you think about it this way, it makes sense because it just straight
Like-
up doesn't.
It's personality, but
But-
they're incels, so it doesn't even make sense, anyways. Yeah, go.
Yeah, you mentioned plot holes. I think this is the whole movie. This fucking plot
It's
hole.
one big plot.
Yeah, because like
It's like a sinkhole
you
of plot.
can you can watch this movie up until like the middle point and stop at that and just imagine the ending.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a good segue to our last thing that we can talk about. Yeah, how we would do that.
Oh, okay. Why don't you get it started?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, the middle point was great. After that, I would delete the whole movie.
So you just
And-
straight up wouldn't do it. Your
Make
way
it
of
a
making
short
it better
film.
is not make it. It's a better film if you just imagine it happened. It's kind of like Avengers Endgame, the dream event.
Better
Yeah,
film.
just-
Go watch
just
the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Read the log line of the movie, imagine it in your head, and that's a perfect movie for you. No, I would do this is the Manhattan Project, and it's not a simulation, but some kind of like maybe radiation that making the Florence Pugh character kind of insane. And I will still go with the children's thematic because I think this was kind of good thing because the one character lost her child, one character is pregnant, another character have two children. That's they always like on the background. Even when they were in the pool party, there were two child that was dressed the same, like in Shining. I was thinking like, did they make like the thing for The Shining, like they are the same and they talk at the same time? It's like they shouldn't do that to that movie.
You remember that one scene where Harry Styles tells says to Florence Pugh, "We should get a baby."
Yeah.
How does that work practically? Like,
No, it's all simulation. Yeah, basically
Yeah.
they don't. I think the girls basically they don't get out of simulation
At all.
And yeah, at all. Basically, when he came into the room, he dropped some like water or whatever into her mouth. I think like this gives her like nutrients and vitamins to stay in the simulation longer. But yeah, I think they just.
I don't think they would
It's
have
like
had
a program,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Olivia Wilde's character.
Olivia is wild.
Olivia the Wild.
Olivia's character is wild, guys.
Yeah, but
No, but like her character said that the babies aren't real. So like they probably would have said to Frank like, "Yo, we're gonna have a baby." Then Frank's like, "All right, beep beep beep, baby."
no, I
think they
don't
just
think they can
uploaded
do
the baby.
that in the simulation because if they could do that, they could bring back the lost child.
No,
But they didn't do that.
I think
mean,
they did
it's
that
all-
too. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the kids are NPCs, same as the bus drivers are NPC,
Yeah.
and also the women at the mall are all NPCs. So they can. It's just so dumb, bro. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. It just doesn't make sense. All right, here's the thing: we're just dunking on this movie, but the fact is, there's so many good elements in this movie, and even the as Pedro was saying earlier, like the baseline idea of it, of the Jordan Peterson thing, of the insults and of the difficulty of whatever, it works on some level, but over here it's just dumped down to a point and just like forcibly squeezed into a format that just doesn't work in any way.
If, for example, if people who listens, if you are going to watch this movie, I think you should look into the mirrors because that's what that's what
You're
I like.
obsessed with the mirror.
You
If
know,
you want to see this movie, look into the mirror. What are you doing?
Wake
because
up, guys!
this
You're in a
was
simulation.
like one of the characters. They should give props to the mirrors in the movie because this was one of the greatest thing that not like in the movie, not in all cinema.
It's a good element. I think we can all
Yeah.
agree the ideas of symmetry and how they juxtapose with all those ideas
Yeah.
of how you're meant to rebel against the status quo and like break the symmetry to break free.
Yeah.
They work on some level. Like they're interesting ideas, which makes it so frustrating that none of it works as a cohesive whole. But can we like try to isolate the elements that are like great about this movie and see if we can piece together an actual whole movie?
Yeah, that actually sounds like a pretty intense exercise.
Yeah, I think that's why the thing about imagining your ending is so good about this movie because parts of it's very good. It's decent, the ideas that they want to portray,
Right.
but somehow they end up. No, they don't work.
Yeah, let's talk about these things that are good then. So I think first, and we all agree, cinematography, sound, don't change that at all.
Yeah.
Great. Phenomenal. Really good. Like I said, I think the setting is good. I think I would keep the setting. But I would really like dive deep into the things that they set up in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, because one of the things that I was thinking is, what is the point of the simulation? Like, you just want guys to be like in your simulation. Like, how'd you make money from that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is the commentary here? Because
They
like,
pay.
Yeah, I know. Like, I know that they have to be like in the outside world, making their own money to pay for this, but that just means that you need to find a part-time job. If Harry Styles' issue was that he couldn't find a part-time job to support him and Florence Pugh, How the fuck does he have a part-time job now? You
Because
know what I mean?
he works for Frank, but
No,
it's
no,
not
no,
to-
I
it's not to
think-
say that you're wrong. It's just to say it's a very good idea, and that
I
makes the
think
movie.
he works for
Oh,
this
okay.
guy right now.
Oh, so
Yeah.
now he's working. Oh,
But
see, I didn't get that.
He's
Didn't
probably
get
doing
that.
like crypto
Yeah.
farming or some dumb shit. Because I gotta go,
No, I-
babe.
I-
Mine some Bitcoin. I'll be back by like 5.
Babe, check out my NFT.
Would you like to buy my monkey?
Oh yeah, maybe this is how he get the Florence Pugh character.
What, through NFTs?
Yeah.
It's
Just
an NFT.
look at my NFT,
Yeah,
girl.
women go crazy for NFTs, bro. Like I bought one of those monkeys for 600K and never turned back.
That's so
Great.
fucking funny, man.
But I think exactly what you're saying.
But like, no. So okay, scrap that. He's working for Frank, fine. But like, I think there should be more of a point to the simulation so that you can justify these sounds.
No,
we were
I
talking
think
about the Manhattan.
they should scratch the fucking simulation out. That's all. Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
Because
Yeah,
it doesn't.
dude, I
add-
don't know how to say this. Like,
No,
you just focus in on those parts because right now you have these really cool setup things which don't work in any way. They don't give any sort of payoff. So if you focus in on those, maybe do something with the tremors. Like you said, a scene with like Harry Styles outside and have the subway go over. That would have been fine.
At least it would have been explained, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But like I already said, I think the best explanation would be the fucking nuclear bombs because where no like
They can't blow a bomb every
because
time.
through the whole movie the audience thinks that they are working in some kind of weapon factory.
Right.
And this is like in 50s, of course, there was the Manhattan Project, and it was in the Nevada desert, and like the earthquakes could be explosions that they are testing because Manhattan Project was underground, and that's I think this is at some point this was where they were going, but at some point Olivia Wilde was like that, nah. 2 props for man. Scratch that.
I think we gotta find the original draft from somewhere and actually read it and see how it was explained. Because there's no way somebody paid like $5 million for the script and
Oh no.
that wasn't explained.
I'm not fucking.
But I think your bombs idea is good, but I don't think it solves the thing. Like the movie is like total shit. It was bombs all along, man. It's fucking 10 out of 10 now. Like,
No,
Oh, bombs?
it was
yeah,
bomb.
buddy.
It's the bomb, bro.
No. The bombs could just explain this thing, but it shouldn't be some kind of plot thing, basically that explains everything. It
Right.
just be explanation why they are there, why it's like that, why they're in the desert, why there's earthquakes, and why they're working in secret. But just for that, but the plot thing should go somewhere else about the Florence Pugh. Maybe she don't like it. She maybe some indoctrination thing they can even introduce with no like simulation thing, but like hypnosis basically.
Okay.
Hypnosis would have worked, or the
Yeah.
simulation.
Yeah.
But
I think Pedro, you want to pitch your version first, or do you have a version?
Okay, so here's my version. You're in the desert. Florence Pugh, Harry Styles. It's gonna be a musical. It is only songs from One Direction.
It already sounds better now. Gonna lie, like.
honestly, yeah.
And then you cut. This is gonna be an hour and a half concert, and then you're gonna cut to the exact chase scene.
So
from the
we
end.
will start
No
the
explanation.
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. To
Yeah,
recap.
Kickstarter for this screenplay.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can go.
So wait, hear me out. So you have the concert, hard cut, Florence Pugh in the car driving away, and then when she reached the thing, you have the other members of One Direction, and then Harry Styles joins one last concert.
I think
That breaks the simulation.
I think the third act of the movie should be Florence Pugh like making the chicken like she does in the oven, and then like falling and hitting her head, and then waking up and saying, "Wait, aren't you Harry Styles, the pop star?"
Am I the Florence Pugh, the actors?
No, she goes, "Aren't you?" And then it's revealed that Harry Styles is an NPC, and then that's it. It's just like in a fantasy world of Harry Styles.
so
No, and she
fucking
like,
funny.
no, actually, I'm pitching the inverse movie of what we just watched. I think
It's her simulation.
All right, so I think exactly what Alex was saying, what Pedro was saying, the basic ideas of the location, the cinematography, the symmetry, all these like fall into one pool. And then there's the idea of like what the film is actually trying to say and the ideology that it's trying to fight against, but it's just not really like made real in the scope of the film in any way. Like the Chris Pine character is just a caricature. He doesn't actually say anything. He's just the corniest shit. So I'd say if you want to depends on which film you want to make. If you want to just make a nuclear bomb film in the Idaho desert, you might as well. Ohio,
Nevada,
Idaho.
Nevada.
Nevada desert, yeah.
Ohio desert.
Ohio desert. But I think it would be better if they made the Chris Pine character AI, because he speaks like that.
I don't think he can be. That makes sense.
Honestly, simulation, just scrap it. But hold on. So there's the Nevada version, and then there's the ideology version, where you actually make this guy really charismatic. You give him values that are perverted, but make sense on some level. Like the definition of a good villain is it's a person who's correctly identified the problem, but become fixated on the wrong solution for that problem.
What I was like pitching right now, basically, he's the AI of a dead person. Because he speaks only in the big manners, like his talk is nothing but sound. Even when he talks with the Florence Pugh character in the kitchen, he just states the obvious things and nothing happens. I think he doesn't do anything. She doesn't. She does the thing in the kitchen, but like he was like he sits there for the dinner and he says nothing.
No, I like how he's like big stand. He's like, I've been waiting for an opponent like you. And then he goes on the table and gaslights her in the most generic.
Because I was thinking it would be, like a chess thing, basically. She will say something, he will say something. And they will be like debating.
Yeah, like an actual battle,
Yeah, like a fight, but like...
And also I was thinking... Sorry, go ahead.
It honestly feels like the first draft of a much better movie. It feels like two competing ideas. And I feel like if you really fleshed out that character, really like gotten those values in there, I know like if you're trying to comment on something, the way to do it is not to turn it into a joke. Have you ever seen those like evangelical Christian lectures that you have in the United States? And they're like, the human eye has 4 parts that are reliant on the other, so we must have a God because there's no way evolution could have done this. And then someone else has a PowerPoint of like 100 million years of evolution explaining exactly how it happened. Yeah. The same thing, your most powerful point, if you're trying to argue against something this strong, cannot be, oh, the other guy's just really fucking dumb, because clearly he's not. If he has 15 million people following him on Instagram.
You don't buy how he made his... like how he amassed his following if he is just this cartoonishly stupid guy. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, you have to build him up as kind of like a formidable opponent. Yeah, for him to actually be a formidable opponent. You can't just tell me, look at him, he has fucking 50 million incels in a simulation. And then we're like, okay, how did he do that? And he makes them dance like monkeys. You know, it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. No.
And the other thing, if they build up him to be so like smart and like he knows everything, but how he loses basically is dumb, because they showed him of being intelligent, right? Of him knowing that Florence Pugh is like kind of breaking up out of the simulation. Right. But why when his wife broke out of the simulation, sorry. He just like, please. I'm gonna die from the knife. Yeah, that's it. That's how my character go.
It was very fucking dumb.
It was very fucking dumb.
But yeah, no, the fact that he doesn't have any sort of it's not backup. It's insurance in his own fucking created world. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Yes. Give himself like stab-proof capabilities, so you don't die in your own simulation.
No, the men die in the simulation. If they die in the real world.
Yeah.
They must.
People die when they are killed.
It says so. You remember in James...
I've seen that.
You remember that James Cameron AMA where some woman is just like... Or
that sounded very aggressive.
No, the James Cameron Q&A, and some woman is like, how come, because you can clearly see the door is big enough for 2 people, how come Jack didn't save himself? And then James Cameron is like, because it's... On page 141 of the Titanic screenplay, it says Jack dies. Same difference. Like, it just feels like a first half of a good movie. And I feel like we're just beating a dead horse. I
think this would be kind of like my closing statement on Don't Worry, Darling. It's 2 rewrites away from being a phenomenal movie. They have everything they need. They need to tie up some things, make it, like, cut out some fat, you know what I mean? Like, make it tighter. And that'll be fine.
Or... it's 2 movies.
Yeah.
Stitched together like a Frankenstein monster and and put it in cinemas.
It's like one of those pictures you see online of someone going to surgery and then they stitched them up and their tattoo is like 5 inches misaligned. That's what it feels like. Yeah. I think Don't Worry, Darling is one big garbage fire and like 4 executions away from being a pretty good movie.
All right, so we have pretty similar opinions.
I don't want to go extra, but like, basic points.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right, so
let's
fellas,
wrap up.
I think this has been a lot of fun. I've had a great time with you tonight.
Thank you, Pedro. Me too.
Thank you.
What do you say, Alex?
Yeah, I also love that, Pedro. Thank you.
Okay, no need
Really?
for that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much if you're watching this. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Next week, we don't know what we're going to watch yet, but we'll let you know next week when the episode is out.
I think we're going to try to see Black Adam if we have the time, because I feel like there's going to be a lot to talk about in that movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll
I
see
love
you
you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.